Good morning, this is Scott the Prepper. This is the first video that I'm recording. I just want to give a little background. I'm not an expert prepper. I just have some experience with backpacking and camping and other outdoor experiences, and spent the last few years trying to increase those skills. This isn't the kind of video series that's going to be any value to a high-level operator or somebody that's got several years or decades of their own experience. This is for people that are new to it, people that don't really know where to start, people that are just looking to get a base of knowledge so that they can increase their acumen. And with that, I'd also like to add that your time is valuable, my time is valuable, so I'm not going to waste your time with fancy editing, fancy soundtracks, or long-winded dissertations. Try to keep things short and to the point so that we both get the value of a concise presentation. With that, this first one of the things I want to talk about for the beginning prepper, any without rule of law situation is going to require some measure of self-defense. Firearms fit into that niche pretty generally for most people. Some basic generalities is that there is, any gun is better than no gun. A person, because of arthritis or age, isn't able to handle a 357 or a 45, be thinking smaller calibers, 9mm, even 22 long rifle with the right ammunition. Much better to try to defend yourself with a weapon that you feel confident with than one that you feel intimidated by. And so I just thought that was an important point to bring up. First thing we're going to talk about is long guns. Long guns meaning rifles and shotguns. If you're going to use a rifle to defend yourself without rule of law situation, you're going to want to have a sling, and I mean a quality sling, not some $15–20 cheap nylon job. You're going to want something that's up for the task. If you're talking about using a semi-auto version of common battle rifles in the field, my preference is a single point sling. If you look that up on YouTube or Amazon or any of the other firearm related websites, you'll learn all about single point slings. Magpul makes a nice MS3 sling, works well. There's also a variety of manufacturers including GG&G that make adapters. If you're if you've got an AR platform and it's not currently set up for a sling, there's adapters that Magpul makes and GG&G and some other companies make, so it'll help you get set up there. I've used 2-point slings also, and they can be really effective with a rifle that's under, let's say, 8 pounds empty. Single point sling gives you the advantage of you can do everything you need to do hands-free, and your rifle's hanging around your torso so that it's right there in front of you. But once again, you're going to want a good quality sling because you may find that you're that rifle without rule of law situation is with you 24/7, and you're going to need something quality that's going to hold up to that kind of rigor. Next thing we're going to talk about is holsters. A handgun isn't necessarily a great defensive weapon, but it is a good backup to a good long gun, and that means that you're going to be carrying that around as well. You're going to want to have good holster systems to support the kind of gun that you're carrying. Once again, don't cheap out on your holsters. Slings, holsters, and belts you can't cheap out on. You just have to buy quality. Cry once, buy once is kind of the rule of thumb there. Just meaning if you cheap out and you keep having to buy the same thing over and over, you're going to end up spending more money in the long run. You're going to be less physically comfortable, and you're going to expose your weapon to risks and hazards of damage, and it's just not going to hold up in the long run. Next thing to be thinking about is magazines, both for your long gun and your handgun. Having sufficient quantities of magazines on hand. Without rule of law situation, if you did find yourself exchanging live fire with a person or a group of people, say, attacking you. You're going to want multiple magazines. I'm sure there's some great resources on the internet that would give you some guidance as to what you can expect would be a good sufficient quantity of that. I personally would say at least 2 to 3 handgun magazines, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 10 rifle magazines that you'd want to keep close by for a situation like that. Another thing not to overlook is gun oil. Most of the popular handguns and defensive rifles at this point will pretty much keep running indefinitely if you keep them oiled, even if they get dirty. ARs, AKs, Glocks, SIGs, that sort of thing. You just keep them oiled, so in the event that you're not in a situation where you can regularly clean your weapons, which is ideal, then at least keep it lubricated, and that should keep it running. Talk about belts a little bit. I use horsehide belts because of their durability. You're going to want good quality belts for you and each person in your household. Also be thinking about some of the rigger type belts that you might find in a tactical store that would enable you to wear a belt to keep your pants up, but then have a belt where you can hang your kit on, including your gun holster and stuff like that. Calibers are another important topic. I've known more than a few people that they're awfully fond of their 270 Winchester, or they think their 300 Winchester Ultra Mag is gonna be their key defensive weapon in a tough situation. And I'm here to tell you, if things got really tough and really tight, replenishing that ammunition supply might be a little difficult. It might be good to think about if you're just starting to acquire weapons. Think about what are the most common weapons and calibers. For my money, rifle in 223 or 556, or a rifle in 308 make a lot of sense for a variety of reasons. And then in handguns, you've got 22 long rifle, 9mm, 45 ACP, and 357 are going to be real common rounds that are going to be easy to, maybe not easy, but easier to come by in an extended difficult time. Additionally, of course, it's going to be important to train with your weapon, be familiar with it, have it sighted in properly, know how to do magazine changes under duress, that sort of thing. So it's going to behoove you to spend time to get familiar with that weapon, and to know it as well as you would know your pocket knife or your cell phone or anything like that. One of the things that I think is a key piece of advice is to incorporate your kit into your everyday carry. For instance, I have to carry a walkie-talkie quite a bit. I use a AR-15 mag pouch to carry my walkie-talkie in because I don't like having it clipped to my belt. And so part of my everyday carry where I go about, I've got basically an AR-15 mag pouch, and something came up, I could easily lose the walkie-talkie and replace that with a magazine, and I've got one right there on my belt. Another important piece of kit, I think, is a flashlight. I keep one on me pretty much 24/7. You just never know, and you'd be surprised how frequently a good pocket flashlight will serve you. You're probably going to have to spend a little more than $10. I spent $100 on mine at 600 lumens. It works pretty well. Also, backup batteries are going to have to go in your go bag if you're going to be carrying a flashlight on a daily basis. Another real key and important thing, I believe, is to learn how to do your work with your gloves on. If you live in extreme climate, if you live in cold weather area, if you can envision yourself doing work where you'd want to have gloves on, you're going to want to be able to charge your weapon, replace magazine, clear jam, use your knife, reholster your knife, use your handgun, reholster your handgun, those sorts of things with your gloves on, because you're not going to have time in a difficult situation to put on the gloves, take off the gloves, so you're just going to have to learn how to do some of that work with your gloves on. I think that's really key. As we go forward, we're going to talk about some other basics. If you've got comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you've got a lot of real negative comments because you're so much smarter than me, I grant it, you probably are smarter than me. You probably got a lot more experience and all the rest of that. If you can't be positive with your comments, just keep them to yourself. We're just all here to learn, get better at what we do, and ultimately put people in the best positions possible if things turn difficult at some point. So I appreciate your time. Have a good day and expect to hear more from you. Thank you so much.